Yeah, and also the reason why I had a permanent ban on the forums for like 8 years, and
What?
no one knew.
Drama, drama, drama. Repster, you said next episode was Spy Complex. Repster, why are you clickbaiting? Shut up. Longest interview ever. A ton of drama and so much amazing surf wisdom and tutorials, including a lesson on positional awareness. You already know who this is, Cromalia. Currently ranked 7, peaked at rank 4 in the world, and a ton of world records. Enjoy. You had a lot of interesting topics here. It's going to be hard to navigate these in an organized way. Was there any of these you were
Uh,
like extremely excited to talk about in this list?
on the one that I really want to have everyone know about is the Sony story because it is hilarious and it also has an interesting fact that most people don't know about. So that's the only one that I really want to tell. The other one I think would probably be I mean I would probably say, what is it? Getting banned on the public server is a very interesting story of why that happened, and then the rest are like, depending if we don't have enough time or if it's just gonna get too long, we can cut some of them out.
I think let's do this. Let's do real brief how you discovered surf and then get right into the Sunny story. I think that would be a nice transition.
All right, so now I discovered Surf when I was a young boy, when I was 9 years old, when I made my Steam account in 2012. And like I think it was in May, so I was 9 years old. I didn't even turn 10. And I made it on my own. In fact, I actually broke Steam terms of service. You're not allowed to make a Steam account on your own without parental permission if you're under the age of 13. So,
Good.
um,
Good, good, good.
so I discovered it through TF2. I remember I specifically had a problem where I couldn't join custom maps because it didn't have the option to download um what is it just assets off servers. So there's you actually have to turn that on, but it was turned off by default for me when I installed the game. So I remember hanging out with my friends and I could never join them because they would always be on community servers. So I remember vividly when I discovered the option, the first map I played was a surf map, but it was this really weird map. It was a combat surf map in TF2, but it was just this giant cone you would surf down on, and that was it. And then we just fight at the bottom,
What?
and that was the entire map. I I genuinely have no clue what that map is to this day. I think it's lost to time. I don't think I could even like scour game and find that map ever again.
I'll ask Darth
So,
Elmo. I'll see if Darth Elmo or maybe Jacko knows what that is. I don't even remember that.
dude,
Okay.
all I'll say is that's probably a map from like 2009 or some stuff
Bro.
like it has to be incredibly old. So, well, shortly after that, like just joined more community servers, discovered surfing, did like some super old maps. Like, before we jumped into this, I was actually on a walk. I didn't get to look at it, but I think I remember playing one of the year 2000 maps. It's like a tier one map that had several different versions. I believe the only one that's actually like good is on KSF right now. But I remember playing one of those maps, and that's the most vivid memory of me like learning how surfing works. And that was basically when I discovered it. And I just played surf for fun for like 3 years. I never really took the game too seriously since I thought it was just a fun thing to do on the side. I just discovered other games like Counter Strike and just played that competitively until one day I discovered what is it, Public Clear, which is a Swedish what is it, community network, and I started playing on there for a bit because it had like a decent surf timer for what I remember, and I could actually just play skill surf. And I remember beating fruits on like 64 tick, and I thought, wow, that was really hard. I just want to surf more because I felt really accomplished beating surf fruits in 2015.
Yeah.
So back when that was probably considered a tier 3 map still. But I just started surfing more. I remember like all my friends asked me where I went. It's like, ah, no, dude, I don't feel like playing competitive. I'm just surfing now. That was the only thing I was doing when I discovered Public Clear. But then eventually I didn't actually join Public Clear. I joined Horizon servers instead. And I don't even know why I did it. I think I just did it on accident and I just started playing on there instead.
Oh, and
And
it's
I've
85
been
tick, right?
Yeah, it's 85 tick, and I think that's probably where I got my crazy confidence boost of like beating so many tier 3 maps since I played on 64 tick for a bit and then I just jumped straight to 85 and I just rolled over people. But because of that and my confidence being super high of just constantly just going through maps, beating harder maps, I improved pretty fast and got a lot of times that actually were pretty good. And I remember specifically in that same year, I believe I even got my first record on Horizon. I think it's even saved on my Steam profile. It's a screenshot somewhere, and I can get the exact date of when I got my first like record of any kind on a surf server. Actually,
That's
gonna
sick.
look it up right now.
If you want to go look,
Uh,
I got a little tidbit in the meantime. Um, One thing is interesting is that you started a little bit earlier than all of us. So like 2015, and you were looking at these very technical maps. I don't even know if you would call them old school, but like fruits, vegetables, healthy. These are maps that I actually played all the way back in 2014. If you look at modern surfers where they're starting, it's almost exclusively very smooth maps. Like two surfers that come to mind. One is Dizzy. Dizzy like loved, I think, oh, I can't remember what he was playing right before Arrear 2. It was like Corn Beat 2 or something like that. We're way less exposed to these technical maps with lots of tight spins or window b hops. You know what I mean? And that's changing the way that we look at surf. Another surfer is Molly and Sirach. He went
yeah.
like 666, Hades 2, Axiom before. He's way more in this vein. We're not as developed in that technical old school aspect. That is really where your like greatest strength was. You were absolutely unbeatable. Like Love Spliff, am I correct that that was a
Uh,
map you had a world record for a long time?
I still have the record on it, I believe. A lot of my records from 2019 and even some for 2017 are even top 3 to this day. Um, Actually, recently, Surf Velocity, if you look at the top 5 there, all the times are from 2021 or 2020. Mine is from 2022, I mean. Mine is from 2017, and it's still rank 3. So that like kind of like says a lot, but
I'm looking.
I
I'm
think
looking.
it definitely does depend on the fact that what's more popular now has definitely changed over time, right? More people are getting it. Like people have realized that sometimes like turning your mouse around like crazy isn't really what you're in the mood to most of the time. You probably just want to relax and just play a map that's rather soothing for your eyes and you know your arm, and you don't want to kill your arm by just like I don't know playing a I don't know the distance be free if you feel like that's a
Yeah.
fun bonus.
And yet,
Like not everyone is in the mood for that, so they'd rather play something that's more relaxing. And I understand why that change has like happened basically, but I just kind of like grew up in that like area of surf since I realized that these maps are like so fast paced that it kind of like matched me, and that was basically what I liked the most about tech maps. It was just like the fact that it were so like pacey. There's not a lot of pace in most maps nowadays. I feel like they move at a very rapid rate, at a very like samey rate. Like I feel like they don't change the the momentum doesn't actually like shift. It kind of like stays in a straight line most of the time nowadays on most maps. I feel like there's no part where it just accelerates in difficulty by pace or just like an obstacle that's just super hard. Everything flows so well together now that people are starting to consider flow into all other maps. So you're not gonna get this like these super weird difficulty spikes on all these old maps that you're gonna get on newer maps, I'd say. So I basically just grew up in that area of surf of just constantly playing these old maps.
and
And to
I,
be exact, it was September 5th, 2015, where I got Surf Fruits 2. So like uh so a 16 stage map, but on Horizon the last stage was broken, so it was you when you finish stage 15, that was it. There was no pineapple stage on Horizon because it was bugged. So it's not even a record at all. It's just
oh,
bad zoning and bad optimization of the map when it got ported. So, well, what can you say?
yeah, that's all you could do, right? There's a lot of interesting things to parse out there. We will get to this, but we'll have to ask the question: is there a real distinction between these old school maps and smoother maps? Are people like erroneously intimidated by a map like Velocity? Or is that ground where surfers who are good now at some things could go there in an area where they're not so comfortable, challenge themselves, or even like get easy tops and easy group ones there? They're just like, no, this map looks bad, but it's in fact the lack of understanding.
I mean, I could just give my opinion on that. The way I see it in that way is that it's absolutely right in the way that people can have a lot more potential for improvement by just exposing themselves to more to different kinds of surf, right? Like not you're not gonna just improve at a certain skill set by playing the same thing, right? If you're able to get better at spins, playing Surf Epiphany for 5 hours isn't really gonna help you, is it? You wanna go on the maps that you don't really feel comfortable on, right? But most people, I think, are just intimidated. Not no, actually, not really intimidated. I think it's just really hard to know where to start because I don't think a lot of people nowadays really have the kind of the map pool knowledge of just knowing what's a good tech map to start with. Like,
Right.
do you think about it for a second? Like, what's a good tier free map that just introduces you nicely into like certain abstract elements nicely that doesn't feel way too cluttered and has a good flow. Just all of these different things that you could say, like, oh, this is a nice introduction. I can play this map since it's not overwhelming with all of the harder aspects of technical surf, right?
Right.
It's a slow incline and you can slowly build up confidence in those skill sets as you just play and grind out the map for a better time, right? I don't think a lot of people just have that knowledge of where to start with that.
Oh, it's a
I think
a
that's probably the
gargantuan
biggest
task.
reason.
Yeah, we have to create some kind of campaign. We have to go, and I guarantee you, right now, surfers like haven't been exposed to at least 500 maps. Like they think they've seen everything in their board, and there's all these old maps from like that 2012 to 2020 era, which is like
Not
the
even
entire
that.
history.
Believe it or not, Velocity is actually it used to be one of the hardest map in surf, and that was released in 2009 as well. That
Oh,
I got that from what is it? I think it was a therapist who was on the server when I was grinding it yesterday. He hopped on. He was just talking to Hab, like Habitat, and him and Hab were on the server, which just talking about certain things, right? Just casual. What is it? Veteran server chat things that just come up when it does, you know. But yeah, I just asked him when was this even released? It was 2009. Like I asked my friends Zaki and Emil, right? Like two like very good unit surfers, and I asked him, guys, guess when this was released? And then Emil is out here saying the mid 1700s because of how old it looks. So
he's practically correct.
I mean, I mean, depending on how you see surf, then yeah, then looking at that map, you're just the fuck is this shit?
Oh, this whole video potential for like how did the motifs in surf change. I remember what I was gonna say. There are some surfers already taking advantage of the fact that global auto bhop changes the route on some maps. So you're looking at like Dizres and Roldar on Rans. That map is completely changed. And now there's all the potential for like the little tiny window skips that I have a feeling that none of them will be hit. But there's also Hero, who's like who looked at Surf Lies and said, I don't care that this has been ground down by everybody and that it's highly technical. I'm just going to hit it. And he did. I think anybody who's looking to get better at surf right now would be happy to have a record, even for a day or an hour, if they knew that at least they'd have rank two afterwards. And that's totally legitimate. So, one more question before we get into Sunny. Are there any maps that you could remember that you could recommend? Is either it's a first tech map or it's just a map you think that people should be playing that is underplayed and possibly a free top?
All right, so let's start with that. So now, Repster, have you heard of this map called the Greenhouse?
Yes, I have. Oh, and I know you like that map.
Oh, so Greenhouse is made by this mapper. Okay, I'm not doing this fucking bit.
Wait, what
I
was the
just
bit?
go on. The bit is that I go on a tangent about how Greenhouse is the greatest map ever made, and how about and it was Sagan's first map, so therefore he's the greatest mapper like to ever exist.
Wait, who's the
Uh,
mapper?
Sagan, he also made Sylvan, Surf Sylvan.
Oh, that map I think people even like a little bit more. Okay, I'm looking at seeing Surf
Yeah,
Greenhouse
because
right
it's
now.
because it's far from what greenhouse is. Now, a lot of people like kind of like meme us like, greenhouse, like, big chunk is a Cromalia map, whatever they want to fucking say, right? But the map is genuinely like, um, I think the most underrated aspect of it is that the flow is awkward. However, with proper routing, the map becomes so fun to play. And the best part about the map is that even if you're going fast on it, the map doesn't feel overwhelming and it feels like there's just so much room to go fast on it. Even when it's so like tightly enclosed, there's so many like tight corners, there's so many like weird boards on it for most people at least. Like I find the boards like pretty like all right, like they're not the worst thing in the world. I think they like depending on the angles you take, they lean well into another Like they just don't really clutter up. There are some parts that are weird to play, but they still feel fun in the end since the entire map is just well crafted, if you ask me. But Greenhouse, I think I wouldn't. I would say give Greenhouse a try just because I'm a fucking Greenhouse shill. But I would say I would actually just need to go on Source and just check on my profile because I think like basically any map I have a top 10 on is because either I've grinded the record out of it or I had the record on it just because I like the map as a whole and I thought this map just needs some attention, right? Speaking of which, I think Velocity, despite it being one of my favorites, which is like what I would say is a pretty like decent way of getting into it, getting into like a small tech element since there's so much room. There's like so many shortcuts on that map. However, you don't really need to take them. There is so much room for you to just go at your pace, and it has like some pretty like standard surf in it as well. Like it's not overwhelming at all. It if you look at the map, you can see like this. There are so many shortcuts being done on the world record run, but you could easily just take the slower route.
And then if you look at the tops, they have massive gaps. So obviously, like from marble up, and you're in that, you're only +7, which would be pretty tight. But the top, like the 10 rank, is 4 seconds behind world record. And then for greenhouse, it's again 3.5 seconds. So if you're looking for a map that's technical, you're a good surfer, or maybe not, and you want to try one of these maps, I think you'd highly recommend it, right? These are good places to try to look for a
Yeah,
temper G1.
yeah. I think for a lot of people, I think people would probably I wouldn't even know what people would be into, dude. I'm not gonna lie.
No, no.
And on that part of like what the supers are into nowadays. I'm 20. I feel old in this community, but that's just because I've been around for like a while and I've seen like things change around me. But going back on track on like actually coming up, I started playing on Horizon, and after I got my first like world record on there, you can barely call it a world record, but I mean, when the text said world record when I got it, I was like, holy shit, I got a world record, so I might as well believe it to this day, right? I just started playing more, and eventually I would discover what like KSF is, and like basically that all the good players play on Source. But I didn't really want to go straight into it immediately, and I remember grinding out Horizon before I started switching like immediately. I wanted to feel ready going into KSF if that made any sense
Yeah.
almost. I did like try it here and then as I was like still grinding Horizon, but after I hit like top 3 on Horizon, which was godlike as a godlike star on that server. I don't even know what the ranks are nowadays on that server. But when I hit that, when it wasn't just rank 1 who had that rank, that was when I started like fully switching over to KSF and just playing. And I think it took me a good while before I actually adjusted to 66 tick. But when I did, which was like late 2016 and like early to mid 2017 was also when I started like getting very good and started hitting like top 10 runs, top 5 runs. I don't even know when I hit my first world record, but I know the map where I got my first world record on, which was Surf Amateur _V2B, which
Oh.
is if you play that map, I don't think anyone I
Oh,
don't. Do you even know what that map is?
I
I'm just gonna be.
do. I do. I
Have
know
you seen?
the last stage is almost like Goliath texturing, and it's the absolutely most annoying snipe in the world. That's what I remember. And so is stage one.
That say.
Oh
I
no,
have
not stage one.
like.
Oh.
I need to check my PR info because I think I have like so many completions on that first stage. Yeah. So I may or may not have done stage one almost 7,000 times.
It's what it takes. It's what it takes, though. That's an old map. And there are some people who are of the volition that the older maps have to be the hardest to take. I mean, you're battling against
I
like Habitat in their prime. It gets mooring in their prime. Is that correct?
I think it was I think it was more like the truffle kind of like sinky um era of surf when I started coming up, and like it was almost when like Kush and Red Sea were starting to get like really good as well. Like they're just like entering the like top 25. I mean, Red Sea was already like a top surfer before he became rank 1, but he just like came back and became rank 1, which is something that a lot of people don't really like remember nowadays because they weren't around to see him like back when he was just, still like good but not the best. Like he's been around for a super long time as well. But it was around that time it was those surfers mainly that were in the top like 10, and I got amateur V2B, and because of that it was a Habitat world record, and I thought, you know what, this record was actually, I thought it was going to be harder than I thought, so I'm going to try to go for more Habitat world record. So that's what I did. So I didn't really go for any other map because that Habitat didn't have. Um, so I would just go to Habitat's profile and I'd check map records, and then I was like, all
Oh
right,
my
this map is
goodness.
cool. I'm gonna go for this map now.
Dude, you were
Um,
farming him? Are you serious? Well, you were farming him because he wasn't around and you knew those records would be good if
no,
you
he was
came
still
back.
around.
Oh.
I just like, oh, this map record was easy. I'm just gonna go for more because I was an arrogant little kid. Now, remember when I made my Steam account when I was 9? I got my first world record when I'm like 14, 15. Like,
Wow.
I'm gonna think of the shit, and that's
Wait,
what
on
I did.
Horizon or
And
KSF that you were 15?
KSF, I was 15. That's even when I got like top 25. I was 15.
That is amazing. So you were really like almost like younger than Marble, or were you really around Marble's age when you got to the top? And this will be a great segue into some of the drama bits, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, it absolutely was. In fact, speaking of the arrogant part, because I remember in 2016 IP on Christmas, right? Because I got the money for it. There was this was like late 2016, early 20. I think, no, actually, I think it might have been. I don't even know at this point, but I remember it was Christmas. It was December at least, and I was on the veteran server, and I got banned because I RTV'd Sony when he was in the middle of a world record run on Neoplasma. I got banned for a week because I RTV'd on accident. And what ended up happening is that I just decided to ego him and say, "Oh, you're mad? Well, just try to get another run anyway." Uh, yeah,
Oh, that was the reason you
if
got
you,
banned for a week?
yeah, and also the reason why I had a permanent ban on the forums for like 8 years, and
What?
no one knew. So yeah, the punishment initially was actually that I was gonna get permabanned on KSF, but everyone thought that like it was like maybe a bit too harsh, so they thought they would still ban me on the servers. However, Sacred at the time, who was still like very much in charge, had the brilliant idea, I believe, of getting me permanent banned on the forums. So if I have a ban appeal at any time, if I do something more, I can't appeal it for shit because Discord
Uh-huh.
wasn't around at that time. And I could never appeal for a KSF admin. Well, I'm unbanned on the forums now, and you don't really like. I don't even know if you do your KSF application through the forums nowadays. If you do it through Discord,
I think it's I
but
listen, I'm not even fucking I think it's still through the KSF forums though, because I can see like Cryptic's and Taiki's applications in there.
okay, then it has to be for the forums then. But yeah, the sort of story is that um I wanted. I remember my friends being on what the hell is this map again? how did I forget the map name of this? What if I forget a map name, then it's like pretty bad because I get pretty mad at myself if I forget a map name.
Alzheimer's? You got
But
dementia?
no, maybe it's maybe the age, you know.
Hey, we'll take it. We'll take it.
What? Um, I got the I got really bored of that map because I just wanted to play on a different map. They were on like the expert server or whatever. So I went to Neoplasma and specifically I wanted to change the map there and I RTV'd and then the whole thing happened, right? I just wanted a different map and I decided to play it off in the worst way possible and well I got my punishment. I got my ass fucking beaten up and I also lost my VIP if I didn't say that because I
Damn.
did get VIP. However, it got revoked because of it. So that's my story.
No, that makes sense.
Actually,
Yeah.
like this getting banned because you RTV someone went on a world record run. Now I wasn't even a spectator. I was just like on stage one, chilling, just waiting for this map to change. And I saw like the vote pop up. All right, let's go for this map. And I type vote for it too or whatever, like typical like chat things like oh what map do you want to vote on and so what. And I did that. Then the map changes, and then I just see Sony like when like as the scoreboard pops up, I see fucking Sony popping off in chat, and I'm like,
Oh.
what happened? What happened? And then it's like and then the map changed. I was in a world record run. You fuck. And
Oh
yeah,
man.
it's it's a very funny situation looking back at it now. I mean, me and Sony are on good terms now. Like it's we don't really like see it as something like that's gonna, you know, distance us for ever becoming friends ever. It was just a really funny situation, and because Sony is like, you know, a kind person, yeah, a lot of people were on his side instead of this random dude that just joined the server and RTV'd.
No, right.
There,
Yeah.
I think the KSF forum post might be somewhere on there. So if anyone wants to actually go look for it, I believe that it is still on there, and the full chat log of me and Sony after the map changed is there. And there's
Wow.
some funny comments by some pretty well-known people in the community that you can read as well. I can't be bothered to look for the post now, but it is there if you want to take your time.
I'll take the answer too, and maybe this would be a good transition into I think two stories. The first is how did you get banned on a public server by Niantics?
That one comes a lot later. I've I'll say it. I think it's 2019. I was already like master. I already had records. Like this one comes a lot later in the timeline, if you want to call it that.
Hmm.
But we can go over it if you really want to know it.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Um. All right. So that time I got banned at the public server by Niantics, which eventually also got his admin revoked. I don't even know why they were doing it.
Whoa.
Probably just to have fun. But it was Sinky, Kush, and Nianix on the public server, and all I it is just such a weird memory for me because what I see is that there's people trying to get this random guy vote banned because he had like I don't know like 38 out of 40 votes to get a vote banned. I don't even know if this guy did anything wrong.
What the
That's what
fuck?
I remembered. And I remember that like I joined the server. I don't know if it was even like anyone in the server, but like people pointed out that I joined the server, right? And then I don't know, like I don't even know what happened and what interaction even like started, but I just remembered that Niantic started a vote to get me banned. And and it failed the first time, right? And it like just continued. I remember just talking like, what the fuck is the point of this, right? Like,
Right.
dude, you're literally like, what did I even do? I just joined the server and I'm playing Surf RST because I want to play Surf RST because I think it's a cool map and or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Like
Yeah.
it was a public server, right? Like that's I'm just so mind blown that it just happened. And then after that, after the first one failed, like a few minutes later, he starts the second one. And this time it goes through, and I'm banned
Oh
for like I
no.
don't even know, like 2 hours. And I'm like, what the fuck? Did that just really happen? I just got banned by like on a public server because like I don't even know if they even did it, but I think like just the addicts and fucking Sinky and Kush. I don't even know if like all of them did it at the same time, but I remember at least one of them just typing like vote 1 as in vote yes to ban me.
Yeah.
Just saying that, and I I then went to Sacred, and then he said, okay, this is weird, I'll do something about it. And well, a few days later, Nianix gets his admin revoked, and I don't know if he got banned or not, but I don't even think he got banned, but he definitely did get his admin removed because of it.
I mean, that was
And
admin
I don't,
abuse. It was admin
yeah,
abuse, wasn't it?
yeah, it was admin abuse. I just joined the server, and he just started a vote to ban me. I
Yeah,
might be able to
malware
find
essentially.
the DMs I had with Sacred about this.
I think this transitions at least somewhat into a larger topic about the toxic state of the community between when you joined and then when you started to sort of take a break. I guess which I guess is 2019, 2020. If you want to get into that, that sounds like it's a long topic, but it could be very interesting. I would just say be careful about talking about people who are currently still involved in the community and all that. Old drama is gold drama. That's going to be the rule if you can stick to that.
Yeah, all like nowadays, like I mean, there's some like the thing is, the most well known drama about me is like a lot of people, and I think it's such a, if you know it, you know it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say about that. And well, the way it happened is that I had like a fucking paste spin of my explanation, right? But it was just literally just that like I just lost the better part of me. Like I
Mm.
just let anger control me, and I just said something bad, something that I didn't mean, and it got spread around. And well, I got originally a 1 month ban off KSF because of it. It wasn't. There was like some people on my side basically saying that the way the ban happened was because it was in what I said was in the private Discord, not related to KSF at all.
Right.
So therefore, it shouldn't really have been counted as punishment at all. However, like some people lost their cool, and I just served my sentence. My gay baby jail sentence is what I called it, basically, when I streamed Momentum Mod, and I was still banned. That's what I said basically about that. If you know it, you know it.
We could talk about
But
momentum mod
I
too, but we'll
I
keep it
think
later.
we
Keep it
can
later.
do that later.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think it's a topic for later. But yeah, 2000, like 2018, I think 2018 though is pretty important to go through because that's when I hit masters, specifically in July of 2018. I reached the top 10 right then, and that's also the year where I had like my most important achievements to like really cement myself in the community, like saying that like yo, like I'm like pretty good at this game mode, which I think the one that the most people know about is the first no fail on Surf Vast, which
yeah. Mm.
I remember just playing the map and finding it pretty fun. It was like, this map is no failable for me, and that was back when the map was considered like incredibly hard. In my opinion, I still think it's tier 7 because there's literally no other tier 6 that literally comes close to it. But that's a topic for another day. I'm always gonna shield the vast tier 7 opinion, and I'm never
Well, I mean,
and I'm never gonna defend Marble's worst take in Surf
oh no.
of him saying that vast is tier 5. That is the worst take I've ever fucking heard in my life. I'm calling you out, Marvel.
Hold on. Let me do the devil's advocate here, because
Yeah.
none of the individual stages are hard. I understand what the idea is. It's like, isn't it tier five stages, and you only have an hour to beat it, and so you have to beat like especially stage 3, stage 4, and stage 5 in like 20 or 30 minutes. Does that make it tier 7 for you, or what is your thoughts on that?
My thought is that it's just because the unit consistency is harder than any other tier 6, really. I don't think just having to keep with the units and keeping the units throughout all the stages, though, like some might be easier than others, but I think like just the fact that you have to stay consistent on the stages themselves, it's just enough to
Right.
warrant it tier 7. This is like
Mm.
that's basically it. Like I think like stage 4 is a really fucking hard stage if you ask me.
Yeah, harder than stage 5, definitely. That was
It's,
my experience from law.
I think I will agree. Like stage 5 is like I think the scaling of the difficulty on the map is done pretty horrifically. I will be real about that. But the map is tier 7 in my eyes.
Hmm. No, I think some people would agree with you. And I remember the truck was streaming it at one point and found it incredibly difficult. And I think that's other people's experience too. Why would it be tier 5 if nobody had no failed it for so long? Why is the top still got like a minute in it, right? I think your
Well, it's
position
tier
is pretty
6, bro.
easily. Yeah,
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 it's
yeah.
tier 6, and it's still considered tier 6, but it's not tier 5. It
Yeah, yeah.
that's all. Okay, I love you, Barple.
No, no.
Enough of hounding. Enough about hounding Barple about having one bad take. He definitely has several good takes about Surf. I can guarantee you
Oh,
that.
100%, 100%. But we can continue on this drama frog train if you want to. You
Ooh,
started
so
talking
what
about,
are some?
yeah.
Wait, no, no. You continue. You continue.
Well, you talked about 2018, but what about the state of the community? Could you, as just like a general question, do you think that the
It's a
community is in a better place than it was back then?
Absolutely. I mean, when I started surfing on KSF at least, right? Um, I unironically just started saying racial slurs every 2 seconds. Like I just became a discrimination machine.
Oh my god.
I'm not joking because on Horizon, like racial discrimination was a bannable offense. And believe it or not, when I was on the public server, one of the first things I saw was literally the N word was painted out on stage 5 on Surf Sandman. That's what I saw.
But just to clarify, at this point, you're like 12, 13. You're very, very young.
I'm
You're
14. I'm
14
like
at this point.
14, 13. Like I want to be a part of the cool kids, right? So if everyone else is being racist, right? How do I become cool by being
Oh
the
my
cool
god.
kids? And what are the cool kids doing? Oh, they're being racist and saying all these really cool slurs like the N word and all that stuff. Oh yeah, all right, I gotta get on this. So I become. Okay, I was gonna say okay, I become racist. Step one completed. that that's definitely not a good way to put it at all because well, I mean, I grow up later, don't worry. Like
Yeah.
I don't fucking do that shit because there's no point in saying it because it's just being edgy for the sake of being edgy, which is what I did back then.
And
But
there's
I
a
just straight up like but looking back at it now, like it was so normal in chat to just like pop out slurs, say really like discriminatory shit that would just straight up get you instantly banned today. Like the amount of stuff that was allowed to be said on KSF from like 2000 like I don't even know, like 2011 I think, to do that to like the time where Sacred decided to like actually ban racism because it got too much. Like got to be too much. Like it was crazy. Like it was just so commonplace to have like this amount of like just aimless toxicity just for the sake of like what is it being edgy like all the time. Like it is genuinely so bad how it was back then. I cannot put it into words. Just like admins, people that are supposed to keep the place civil and shit were on the same boat as well. Just like
Yeah,
I don't
I
know,
have the
just
most fucking
not
nihilistic view of this. I'm not gonna lie. I think we just change
nihilistic.
like I think that we just change certain I think we do the exact same thing. We just do it to different people in different ways. Like I
Yeah,
absolutely understand like homophobia and racism was rampant on the servers, and now we just switched it for like, are you quote unquote toxic or whatever? Either you can let that person go, and then they're just like a bomb under the community, waiting to come back and do more shit, or you can integrate them into the community and maybe even change them as a person. That's my mentality. I try not to
yeah,
reject anybody in that way without at least giving it the try. So I'm still in the process of just like
yeah,
it's not an immediate solution, and also I would say I'm not sure. I don't want to equate racism and homophobia to this because it seemed
yeah.
like, as what you're describing, nobody who was actually African American or not straight could be on the servers openly without a deluge of bullshit from people. That is a huge difference between KSF right now and KSF back then.
Absolutely. Like I can go like dude, not even kidding. The reason why I didn't join public servers in like when I started getting good, the reason why I didn't join public servers like ever was because of that. Like I just like when I grew up and fucking realized that all this shit is like just stupid and nonsensical and just not that it's just not normal. It just shouldn't
Right.
be normalized at all. I just stopped joining public servers because I just didn't want to deal with that bullshit. And if
Oh
I
shit.
were, I didn't talk to anyone. I always put on high chat, and Yeah, that was all. I never interacted on public servers if that were to be the case because I just didn't want to see that toxicity, which is so pointless to me.
And were voice enables? Are you voice enable zero? How long have you had that?
Uh,
Oh, you're
voice
not.
enable. Like the thing is that I realized on KSF people don't use the voice chat
Yeah.
at all. The people just don't use the voice chat at all. However, on Horizon, it was very commonplace on the donated servers that people would just talk in voice chat, which was fun.
Yeah.
I kind of like missed that part about Horizon. Was like it was just so fun to like actually run a map and then like have to like you could actually just like it's like being a Discord call with your friends while going for a world record. Like you're not gonna fucking get that nowadays in KSF. People are just sitting in chat instead because they don't want to use the voice chat. But I understand it too because the voice chat in Source is fucking garbage. It's very outdated compared to CS:GO. Like it uses a completely different like audio engine. It's
And
very outdated. It's like from 2000 like three or
oh,
something. Well, from the games released. So like the quality is terrible. So I don't blame people for not using the voice chat on Source though.
maybe we should switch that to like a Discord. Like there's a corresponding Discord channel for each of the servers on KSF you could potentially join. I will say though, GFL poppin'. At least it was during the pandemic, a great place not only to talk with your friends but like to meet people. KSF is not that place anymore, but also it's a different product. If you, that's where you want to see top tier surf, you want the access to the replays and the information, right?
Yeah, that's what it's basically become, and I can completely attest to that. It
Yeah.
just I felt more community in KSF in the earlier days than I felt like nowadays. Because the people that you really talk to on KSF are the people that you already know because they're other top surfers that you have hung out with before or stuff like that, or just people you know, right? That's basically the only like group of people that you really encounter on the servers. It's just those like, oh, it's another top surfer that I'm friends with. Oh, hello, greetings, other
Yeah.
top surfer. This is not how top surfers talk, by the way.
Oh,
just
right. You
just
start off with a
clarifying.
racial slur
The-
and then
uh,
you talk about
in
how the
2015, you started off with the racial slur. You may have gone into like some homophobia, and then start off with some shit talking, and then a conversation about how you may have sexually harassed their mothers.
whoa, whoa,
So
whoa, whoa,
yeah.
whoa, whoa, whoa. TOS, TOS.
Yeah,
Nah.
that you can that listen, sometimes I get on edge. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Well, I have
Sorry.
also been discovering that, like, from my side, not being edgy at all does nothing. Like, if you, oh
Yeah.
God, you know who's doing better than me on YouTube for surf? I'm gonna show you.
Who?
It's hilarious. It's a guy named Ozzy. He's getting like 4K views per video. He puts out one video a month, and all he does is do the raccoon eggs thing. I think that it's the next thing to emulate here. If you look at his most recent video, it's just like super TOS. He can't run an ad in front of this video. You can even see he's got the demonetized symbol in the thumbnail. Um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, like these videos are like they're popular for a reason because I don't think a lot of people kind of like miss this content when it was in their heyday. Oh my god, that was a burp.
no, you're totally right. Do you think that we have exhausted the drama side of this? We talked about
Yeah,
how it was in the
absolutely.
early days. Okay.
I'm tired of talking about how shit KSF
No.
was. I want to talk about how good it is nowadays.
So what how do you
Uh,
see the community now?
I see the community as a place you can actually be in. Um, that's not something you could have. Well, you could, but I just wouldn't find it like oh, you're in that community.
Right.
Well, that's cool for you, I guess. Like now, KSF is a community you can interact with, meet new people, and like cool people, and also it doesn't feel like it's just a place where you go on there to talk shit anymore.
And to piggyback
I
off of
think
that,
it's such a great it's such a way better place than it was now.
yes.
I think it's also because it just with like newer generations of people and the way like people have taught like internet etiquette, if that makes any sense, right? Because like in 2000 like 10, like even going further back, right? You probably know this, but people were way more edgier, like in the mid 2000, like in the early
Yeah.
2010s, right? Like it's changed. Like people are also civil online, mostly.
Got way
It's just,
better across the board. 100%.
yeah, and I think that kind of also adds into like the fact that people like know, oh, I shouldn't be saying this stuff because it would be inappropriate when the thought back then was, oh, this is inappropriate, so that means I basically should say it,
I
right?
must say it. I have the impulse. No, no, no. But what I'm gonna say also, the first thing is that I think it's because players are getting older and they go to
Yeah,
work, and it's
sure.
like, oh, like why does my job also not want me to say these things? And people I meet at the pub, like why does nobody like this? It's like, oh, the exact
Yeah.
reason for that, whether or not it's ideology or if there's just like a real reason not to be mean to people, well, that's debatable.
Yeah,
But what I will say is that KSF is way more brandable. I can
yeah.
go to more street. Dizzy and XQC played on KSF, and there wasn't a Twitter firestorm. Like, why are you playing with this racist organization? Why are you playing with this organization that abuses its members? We don't have to handle any of that because it's just Caffrey. I really think that Beetle179 has a huge hand in that. Caffrey has a huge hand in that. I'm sure Nyasel. I don't know about Untouch and Evolve in their role in the
Uh,
drama over
I
the
think
years, but
I think they're like I think if you want to have like more hands on that, you should probably talk to QR because he has a lot of like
uh,
I've heard some of the stories about like the way it was run by those two back in the day, but I think like talking to QR gives you a better perspective on how they kind of act as community figures nowadays.
I was so afraid of making a video about KSF and then in the comments, like 10 comments talking about how I shouldn't even be repping them. Now I would say the CSGO community is more so privates are bad, KSFers are elitist. When there's way better things to criticize KSF for on the like you just look at the forums, bro. It's fucking
Yeah.
hilarious. It's so easy to find dirt. But they know that it's a different community. And I really, really appreciate that.
Yeah, I think that was a good word you chose. I kind of like missed that one. Like that was kind of the word I was missing. Like it's a more brandable like
Yeah,
community. Like it was just not advertiser friendly at all. Like you go on there, like you could go on there if you're a streamer, and then you could get banned like just immediately because like just so much not safe for Twitch content on there you would encounter not by choice, but it just happening on there.
and then the alternative is to have a totally solo experience, which sucks too. And now, I mean, even Dizzy was playing on the beginner server for like 2 weeks with no problem, which was amazing. I think that had to also do with the people that were chilling with him in the chat. I can't remember who. I
Yeah,
think it was like Tato or something like that. Now we've got some other topics here. I would
tournaments.
ask, I would ask your opinion on private. You got something called private server shenanigans. Can I ask your opinion on private
Dude,
servers?
I will tell you, like, now, okay, my opinion of private servers is that the way they happened was, I remember, what is it, Boo, right? I don't even know if if you saw my Twitch comment. It's a joke between me and him mainly. Is that like basically he's my lost biological dad?
What is he actually?
Because he no, that's the joke. Because he actually was one of the people I had a rivalry on Horizon. In fact, he was like rank 1 on Horizon when I was rank 3. We go back a
Yeah,
long time, like in short. So that's the reason why, right? But Boo straight up went to I believe I don't even know who he went to, but it was at least one of the KSF owners, and he just said that he wanted a private server to surf on, and he said, "Oh, it's gonna cost you money," and then he said, "Money isn't the problem." They handed out a number, and he said, "Fine, I'll take it," and then he said they said that for what I remember, they set that number just like for just bluffing, like, oh, you're not going to do it, like let's
right.
do an absurd amount of absurd number, right? Because who would actually fucking pay for that? And well, people do want to pay for that, believe it or not, if they have the disposable income. And well, they were still super reluctant to give out private servers at first, but when more and more people showed interest and like and it started becoming a thing of like I believe like Perfectu and Boo were the first two to own private servers, it just became like the price was like it's $150 for a private server. Like
Whoa.
it's you would have to persuade. I think you still have to like kind of persuade them if you still wanted a private server because they were still against it. However, they just didn't know that more people would just what is to come and ask for them, and then eventually the meta came is just get a group together for you to like just pay the private server together, right? So one person comes up in front, asks for a private server, but there's 10 people involved, like with the money, right? 10 people are like what is it?
Yeah, it's not that bad. Now it's
Gathering
$100.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it's $100, right? Believe actually 150 was for a European server because
Ah.
the first private server was NA.
Hmm.
It was NA.
Was Boo was Boo a just a surfer? Am I confusing him possibly with like a Call of Duty YouTuber? He was just a really famous
No,
surfer,
no, no,
right?
no, no, no. No, it's just a surfer.
That
Uh,
makes sense.
he There's a lot of boos. In fact, there was a German boo back in the day. I
Oh.
think most people know him for having a world record on Surfing Network 2013. 2012 or 2013. I don't remember the map, but he's like in the KSF Records comp.
That makes sense.
And
That makes sense.
like I believe even some people thought it was like that boo, but no, it's not him. Like it's two completely different people.
That'd be hella cool. It'd be a good connect. But on the other hand, do you think that private servers were deleterious? I guess that just means bad to public life on KSF and to the sense of community that people had. Like, obviously, there was a huge downside of not having privates. You can't play the map you want
Yeah,
to play. But on the other hand, having to wait in the same server with a bunch of other people forces you to meet them and to talk to them, at least in the discussion of what map you're going to play next, right? And then that's how, like, conversations and friendships bloom from that. What's your
yeah.
perspective on that issue?
I think it basically, I think it fucked over a lot of like the people that want to try to get good.
Hmm.
I don't think it has because I think it had the opposite effect on the top like on for the top surfers and the top ranked surfers. I think actually it improved the competitiveness because people would just sit and grind all day, you know? So in that way, in like basically it made surf more competitive, even though you could argue that the way it got competitive isn't really like healthy for the community, right? Which I think actually is the case, right? Because you just have private servers and people are just sitting there grinding their records away
Right.
on them. I don't have access to a private server nowadays, but even now, like going into like a veteran and expert is really easy because not a lot of people are like sitting on those servers nowadays. If you go look at them, most of the time they just have like a few people playing on them, and if they're full, it's mostly because there's like a new map being played.
And then you get into the time zones. Dude, it was literally free from like 6 p.m. to 12 p.m. in my time zone. It was amazing. Zero players. And so I was able to play like every bonus I wanted to. I never had to pay for a private. And that's changed now a little bit with me and Dizzy and some other people having come back. But I think we have talked about a bunch of amazing topics. We talked about how you started on surf, how you got exposed. We talked a little bit about the drama.
How I got exposed.
No, you got
Just
exposed.
I know what context you meant, don't worry.
No, I don't know about that. And it sounded like after what happened with you, and it eventually blew over, and you were able to come back with your reputation intact. I think people did eventually come around. Does that do you feel like that, or do you feel like
Yeah, basically, there's I mean, I have some messages from like what is it when I talk to some people still because I didn't really want to. I would because believe it or not, I was embarrassed because I realized that it was just such a in the moment thing I said that I
yeah,
didn't really mean it because I was in the end I was more mad at myself like for saying what I did. Just didn't want that. Like the first thing I did was to apologize. Like when I came back and realized like the aftermath of what I did.
yeah.
The first thing I did was immediately like apologize to the said person, and me and the other person that was like just involved.
And
Just
that's a
first
beautiful
thing.
thing.
That was the first thing I did.
It shows your character, and I think that had to have made a huge difference. Are there any other topics that you desperately want to talk about? We definitely have time. Let's see.
I think it definitely. I think one of them that is very important is not only just like I think improving in tournaments is the two that I kind of want to like talk about a lot because
Oh,
I think the best way to improve nowadays is kind of like locked behind privates as well,
yeah.
which kind of sucks, right? Because not everyone has access to private servers. Not everyone has 10 friends that are super deep into the surfing loophole, you know? Surfing rabbit hole, I mean. Not
Hell no.
loophole. Loophole is a different thing, you know?
Yeah.
Um, that, you know, can gather up and just dispose $10 every month for a private server, right? Not everyone has that. Actually, how do I warm up into this topic? I guess I would just go into tournaments and then would just like kind of like realize how to improve, because I think a lot of the basis of like mindset, the base mindset that you want for surfing is basically like what you want to master when going into tournaments.
Oh, okay. I have one tiny quick note. On the
Yeah.
Discord, there is a channel that if you were looking for other people to make a private server with, you can find them there and collaborate. There are currently people still looking for a Russian server on CSGO, multiple NA private servers and EU private servers. So just drop a message, say, hey, I'm looking for a server in this region, this tick rate in this server. Somebody will find you and get you in. So if you're looking for that, definitely check that out. What is the mindset that you come into a tournament with, and how do you think that translates to top level play in regular surf?
Right. I think the way of basically the way like you just have to approach a tournament is that, well, one, you have to, well, there's the technical parts, right, of actually playing first. You gotta like practice the map pool, right? And you gotta have efficient practice, right? Do intervals of runs of where you only put yourself into 10-minute timer,
Oh,
practice getting good runs, stuff like that. Like the like the basis of like actually having good practice in tournaments and all of that. That just happens, right? That's something you have to do. But then there's the most important part, which I think leads to better performance in general, which is mindset. And I think the worst thing you can do is just what is it? Kind of expect a certain outcome all the time and just focus on your current run. And if you fail and you're right near the end of the map, for example, like just say that that run is now over and just move on to the next one, right?
right.
Because the most important run right now is not the one you failed, it's the one that's coming up next. Because you failed that run now, okay, that run is over. You didn't finish the map. But if you keep venting on the fact that you didn't finish the map, you're not going to finish it at all. You're just going to be sitting in this loophole. No, why do I keep saying loophole? In this mind loop of just you constantly thinking about how about you failed this run, which is because the word failed, well, it's negative. You don't want that negative thing, so and these negative like words and thoughts is spiraling out of control. You just want to focus on what's next in tournaments, at least, right? Just having always the thought of like the next run is the most important one. Even if I were to finish a map in a good time, it's like, okay, I finished the map. That's a great boost in my confidence, and knowing I can do this, knowing that I can actually get a decent time on the map. I'm just gonna keep going, and I'm just gonna not expect too much. I'm just gonna do what I practice, right? And if I didn't, well, if I didn't like do as well as I thought I would because I put so much practice into it, into a certain map, right? Like I put so much work into maybe like my map pick of a surf tournament, right? And it didn't pan out how I went. Then just go back and just watch. Hopefully, if you're able to, we'll just watch the times where you failed and see how you failed, right? Just noticing like the small things, right? And then just come back to it eventually. Because if you lose a map, right, in the BO3 series, then well, it obviously sucks, but you can always go back and see what you did wrong, right? And just see right over like all the boards you did right, all the boards you did good. Just take
Yeah.
in everything that you can and just move on to the next map.
It must be crushing for there not to be another tournament afterwards. We've had so long since a tournament, right? Has it been 2 years? No,
Yeah, I think it's been.
it's been one
I
year.
mean, I think it was the last. It was. It's been
Last
one
year.
year, but the last tournament I played was kind of like a part where I just was already burnt out,
Yeah.
and I only had one day of practice. And
Oh.
guess how many maps I got to practice? I got to practice two,
Oh my
and they were none of the maps that that I had to play in the
god.
BO3. And
Oh.
it's crazy to me to think that I had better what is it CPs on what is it serve cloak
Mm.
than Green Void when I literally had not touched the map ever since I PR'd it.
Wait, did you win that? And I wanted you to win too. Did you win that map?
I lost because didn't really like get to finish a map
Yeah.
run since I didn't really practice the later stages of the map. But I had the first like the middle of the map and the first part of the map kind of locked down, but I just didn't really know how to convert or just play the map well near the end. Like the last CP, I had troubles with because I didn't really know how to have the most efficient boards and have the best what is it exits on every ramp and all of that because it's a very precise map, right?
Mm. Yeah.
Like just
Yeah.
even even just like flicking off the ramp, you have to be precise about that because you want to go into the next ramp with the most units as possible and with the max amount of height and like all of these like complicated surf variables that everyone likes to talk about.
Oh, 100%.
And
Yeah.
then there's Torque, which was a map that I already had played before. It was a map I already had tried to run before, so I just went into it like that. I just didn't really think much. I'm just gonna do my best. This is a map I've played before. I like this map, so I'm just gonna do my best on it. And it sucked that I failed one run where I had to improvise a save of where I had to like I noticed that like okay, I'm not gonna make it. Is there any way that I can get a decent board onto this ramp? I was like, okay, if I just turn left and land face palm it, I can actually just flick up and go into the final part of the last stage. And well, sure, I got a completion, but I didn't really get a run after that, so that kinda sucked.
I think one big thing that fucks that up is that there's only a tournament once a year. If there was another tournament like in 2 months that you knew you were going to be in, that could be like, I failed this one. I'm not miserable about it because I know that there's another
Yeah,
one coming up. But unfortunately, because there's so much time between them, and because we don't even really know if there's going to be one this year, right? They were
yeah.
like, are you in talks
It
of that or what? Or like, do you know anything about what's happening with that
I
tournament?
I am kind of out of the loop because I don't know if it's just me not good at putting myself out there, but apparently I feel like the most unapproachable man in the world.
Same.
They just
No, no,
no,
no. I think it's
there's
like there's
there's if wait, what do you think it's like?
I think that there's a discussion channel in KSF that I'm not in, and I'm like being deprived of
Oh,
critical
yeah,
information.
like, the thing about that one is that I always have to update my profile on the CASF Discord for me to get in there, otherwise I lose access over time.
Oh, what the
So if
fuck?
I've not used it, if not I've not used the Discord, channel for a while, I just lose access to it, but if I do exclamation mark like P on the CASF boss channel, I just get access to the channel because it realizes that I'm, like, top 10.
Okay,
That
but
was that's basically all
oh
about that
man,
one.
you mentioned something when you were talking about like going in with the right mindset. Like I was forced to play Sinsane, not the hardest map in the world, but on stream, and I just kept failing the same part over and over again. I didn't go into save lock to practice it, and I'm live in front of like 60 people. I saw my viewers bleed out, going from like 74, 60 to 43 or whatever. Just the most toxic
Uh,
feeling of myself of like I can't do
yeah.
this. I didn't practice this. My what I had practiced for like 2 days prior was feudal, why not two, and royal. We got royal. We got it done. Hype stream moment. I couldn't even continue to stream. I was so fucking tilted. Trying to retain that mindset of it's not about this run right now. It's about all the individual
It's
elements.
yeah, yeah, it's not like the best way to put it is like a lot of surf is in the moment, right? But the worst thing you can do is dwell about what you did before because confidence comes from failure. It's like I failed at that one time, never fucking doing that again.
Mm.
Just I'm not screwing up my chance this time. Like that's at least how I see the way of confidence, right? Just just doing it so many times that it's now just a part of the process, which is something that like you kind of have to learn to trust. Is what the process of just like executing the fundamentals of surf, right? It's just you shouldn't really think about what's coming up ahead in the map as well. I mean, I do, but that's because I'm an idiot. So don't take it word from me. So whenever I'm playing Surf Spaceship and I do the first checkpoint, it's like, oh fuck, man, I gotta do the CP3 shortcut. Fuck me. And
Oh,
then then I fail in the middle of CP2 as always.
I want to come back to
Um
spaceship, but I just want to highlight that a player that I see who's incredible with the mindset you're talking about like apart from controversy, is Bazooki. Like Bazooki will hit the most incredible run and then just like spine a ramp or hit the end zone, and no delayance will go right into the next run. Like he's always just thinking about the units and the ramps and not thinking about the result until he hits it. And the consequence of that, incredible consistent surfer.
Yeah, that's like basically like the things I've learned like just playing and getting so many records is like the thoughts that you need to avoid and learn not to engage in, and the things that you need to keep in mind of, which is just like just a general gameplay, because surf is very much like what's happening right now. Like I've already said, like sorry that I sound like a
No,
broken
you're
record,
good.
like
Well, let me try to tie it
but
in. Did you see the newest Batman skip on Spaceship? And do you think you'll be able to hit it? Will you go for that skip?
I tried hitting that shortcut the first time I saw it, saw his first initial task, and I already tried beating my own spaceship record when I was going for when I was trying to go for a rebeat,
Yeah.
and I just wanted to get minus like what is it, two, like I wanted to get minus like 2.5 off rank 2, but now that's turned into something like, much higher because of what the shortcut like what kind of units the shortcut enables, and that also led me to discovering other like ways you can route that map. But spaceship is a map I've basically been working on for how long I've been grinding this
Wow.
map for.
You hit it in
I would almost say
2019.
like I would almost say I literally have tried to improve that run for 2 years.
Wow.
It it I've already said it, it's just such a hard map to run because of how like it's so it's just so old, and you go so fast on it, and it's so technical, and it's so many things at once, and it's really hard to be consistent on that map, and there's so many hard things that you need to do, like doing just the shortcut itself, right? You can actually do it badly. You can do it with bad units, because I think doing it with lower amount of units is actually easier, because the the hardest part about the shortcut is actually entering the hole.
Yeah.
It's not about like the board afterwards, because if you have enough units, like a threshold of units, you can go through the hole, and it's not the hardest thing to just get onto the next ramp. But it's about the entrance and about the flick before, because the height you have and like the downfall you have going into the hole and the amount of units you have is basically what determines just like everything about that. And then it's all about how you strafe into the hole, and you don't have a lot of room to maneuver around, because I don't know if you've ever done show triggers on that
Oh,
map,
no, I
but
haven't.
the triggers are basically like above the ground. They're like halfway off the ramps. Like imagine this, like if you've ever seen the map record, right? Just like if you see the ramps that are like kind of like across the walls, right? The trigger is like on the halfway point between the ground and the ramp. So you have even less like room to maneuver around, because the trigger is in the air, and it's lowered at the part where the hole is.
So you're gonna hit the trigger even if you're not hitting the ground. That's total bullshit. Oh my god. I'm looking at the
Yep.
record right now.
That is uh
Wait a
yeah,
minute. It looks like you did the
I
skip, but is the skip that you go to the next ramp directly? So you go directly into the hole. But what?
yeah, I go the thing about it is that you skip the ramp, like
You
my
skip the
run,
first ramp and you go to the second.
I hit the ramp, I hit the I can't speak right now. I don't know if you've seen the Ancients one video about Ike, but that stutter actually happened, and then I decided to just like
Send it anyway.
improvise like me choking.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Good improvisation. But just to clarify, on Spaceship, the skip is you do not hit this white and black ramp after the hole. You're going to the next gray one directly and keeping a ton of units. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. So before you would hit into that ramp by going directly into the hole, just riding on the left side, since that would give you a better board onto the next, and then just going on from there. However, if you flick off early off the ramp that you had hit off, you're actually just able to just skip straight into it if you cut it well enough. So that is the shortcut, and it's pretty hard to do, It's pretty hard to just do it. It's even harder to do it well, and I don't like when my runs are bad. So I'm giving myself like a lot of work by just trying to hit it good.
And what it shows, I mean, your distance between you and rank 2 is insane, and then the top itself has 4.5, almost 4.5 seconds in it, and you're just destroying that. Do you think you're gonna retake it, or are you just gonna wait? I'm getting Discord notifications. No, 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 no. I just deafened myself. I just fucking deafened myself. Hold on. Streamer mode is on.
Streamer mode.
I got it. Hold on.
I I've been on and off spaceship okay
No, no.
again.
Yeah, you've been occasionally on it. And do you think that you're burnt out of surf, or do you still enjoy it?
I enjoy it, but this is not to sound arrogant, but I've kind of done so much that I don't know what to do.
Right. It's not going
I've
to be
reached top
AIDS too,
5.
right? Oh, oh, that's right. So you rank 4 at peak. Keep going.
Yeah, I've reached top 5. I would like to get top 3, so I've been one of the best free surfers in the world. At one point, that would be fun. I was close. I was kind of close at one point, but that was kind of at the point where I was like burned out as well, and I just wanted to take a break. And then it was just, well, I'm top 10 anyway. Like I don't really gain like an extra rank by getting like rank free. In fact, you basically get a custom rank without needing VIP. That's basically what you get at rank free and rank 1. Rank free to 1. That's basically what you get. You get a custom name tag.
It's nothing. And a Fortnite top 3 player gets money and brand deals. If there was money
Yeah.
in this, guarantee you, Cromalia, not only if more people cared about this game, but if there was a potential, then go and join an organization and become a content creator for like, which means you just play and an editor edits your shit and you play a game for your job. That nobody would,
It'd be
there would be no
amazing.
question. But we're not at that point, and getting to that point is not only binary yes or no, like we just might never do it, but it's also what sacrifices do we have to have, like make as a community to be able to do that. What I will say, Cromalia, is I'm trying to find ways to make surfing fun for y'all, the top players, without requiring any grind. So like if you saw the RepsterSurf circuit, that's just something where you can come in, play against 16 other surfers. A lot of them are very good, just not at your level. Come out on top, have a good time for a Saturday or Sunday. Trying to create more events like that are low effort, high reward. I don't know. Have you gotten a chance to check in those streams or play in one of the lobbies?
I've checked them. I just like, I think the main pull in, right, is like not only to get people watching, but to get people like playing them as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm definitely in the boot camp of damn, I just want to see this shit. Because I mean, I kind of already like, it's not to sound arrogant, but I think I would know what would mainly happen if I were to join it.
You destroy.
Kinda.
You'd come in first. It would be
I,
crazy.
it would just. I think I would just do pretty well. I don't want to guarantee because I can definitely fail. I'm human, believe it or not. I'm not an ascended being.
Yeah.
I'm a human just like you. I have hands. I have arms.
Oh, really?
I eat food. I have a job. It's an internship, but like I am just like you. I am just good at like a video game. That's basically the only thing that distinguishes between me and you. That means like we can get along and become friends. Believe it or not.
So you're actually
In
a
fact,
god and I should worship you and all that. That's what you're saying.
I don't know. No,
Oh, okay.
no,
Oh, okay. I'm close. I'm close. I'm getting there.
no, no. Listen, the close.
Close. Okay. I have a couple of other general questions. First of all, how do you feel about the channel so far, RepsterSurf? Uh, things that you like, you don't like, and then also, do you have any questions for me or comments like I want to see X, Y, Z? Would love to know what your thoughts are.
My personal like what I think is so uncovered in surf is definitely its history because it's just so scattered and there's no like there's basically like no way to go to a certain place to find out like how surf went down because it's just evolved from people just like oh Mario just making like this cool like map because he found out an exploit in Counter-Strike 1.6 and then people just started making more maps of it. like you had to be involved in those communities to find out how it evolved eventually. And there's no place to really go to like actually get the history of surf, because I think a lot of people kind of overlook like nowadays like what happened in like the early KSF days, uh like Morning, Habitat, like all other rank 1 surfers like Insane, Geb, Yaman, just also like people just completing stuff for the first time, like Skyline being the first to do Nightmare bonus, like when it was considered impossible, like just a bunch of these things that not a lot of people just know about because they're just getting introduced to how the game is played. And just these are the hardest maps. And there's this guy you can go to, RepsterSurf on YouTube. You should subscribe and turn on the notifications.
Cosign.
Sorry, my cat just came on my computer.
Good one.
Nah,
I like that. I like that. I'm gonna keep that in. No, but I understand. And
okay,
yeah,
yeah.
real quick, I was just gonna say I could do that. I would keep them a lot shorter. Like I would do a
Yeah.
10-minute. Here is the first year of surf or whatever happened, because the big history videos I was doing in the past just take too much time. But in addition to history videos, are there any other things that you would love to see as a surfer?
I like to. I personally, I'm just a fan of. I'm just a fan of podcasts and interviews. I just like those. So it's fun to be in one, right? I just get to talk. I get to release myself and talk about the things that I want to talk about.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And wait, I just. Oh, speaking of which, I have there's something out there that you might know, and I don't even know. You've talked to Orson before, but believe it or not, there is an unreleased version of the third episode of his podcast. And believe it or
What?
not, it was with me.
Oh shit!
I forget, I completely forgot about it. We recorded it and we never released it. It was never released. I was also planning to do a podcast episode with Ronan and with Surf underscore podcast, right?
Yeah.
But that never happened either because Ronan is often way too busy and we can't get Banoe, Ronan, and me like at one point. It's mainly those two, right? Because they actually have a life and like I don't. So um it's mainly getting like the time between those two and then me and then me, I'm just like there. I'm like, hey guys, like we could do. It's like, sorry, I have to. Like, at one point, like, yo, are you able to do the podcast this month? I asked Ronan. No, I'm going to Finland. Like, okay, for like how long? I don't know, like 2 weeks.
Dude,
Uh,
I never leave my
and
house, dude. I'm never going to Finland. What the fuck?
I don't even know what a house is.
But this is a
Okay.
potential, like for live stuff. I could definitely do a live podcast part two. Super easy if we're down to do that. Much like I haven't even experimented with that yet. I am super excited to ask Orson and see if he'll release that podcast episode. If maybe he'll give it to me to upload to the channel since he doesn't do YouTube anymore. Dude, I would love to hear. Was it a good podcast? Do you remember what you talked
I
about?
think it was. I think it was all right. I think we talked about some like general topics. Wait, let me find the. I think we can find the thing, or at least like my DMs with Orson. I remember his original account is some weird name now.
Angled
It's like
CS.
yeah, but I remember.
Another one?
Oh yeah, okay. I found this Discord account. This old Discord account, the one he's not using now because it got hacked into. um the topics we discussed were how far can surfing even go, and is it able to become popular in other games, and like is surf way too competitive and how long will it last, the RNG fix scandal and how it
Oh,
has impacted KSF, because that was the thing at the time
yeah.
when we did this interview. um this time tech surf versus smooth surf, and is there what's the difference between technical surf and actual gimmicks? Like just straight up gimmicks, that's just different. And then discussing if old maps should be added to KSF.
Mm,
Because at the time Water Run was added on KSF. And people weren't really happy about it because like, oh, this map is shit.
yeah.
And I think it's a bad map, but it can because like I it takes a lot for me to call a map bad. unless it's unit surf, then I'm just gonna hate it because I'm, like, haha, haha, unit surfing is bad, not original. Look at me, I'm playing Surf Stitched, and I'm the most, what is it, based individual in the world. Like that.
Oh, wait. Can we talk about? I'm so sorry. Opinion on Surf Stitched. Are you going to run it?
I ran it before. There was a reason to why I didn't rerun it was because of um on source. If you were to hit if you were to basically just land on the floor from a very like high up place, it would just like your view model would be completely tilted. I don't
Oh,
know if you've seen it before, but it's not a thing in Go, and it is a thing in Source, and that was one of the things that I noticed when I went over from what is it, CS:GO to CSS, was this specific like thing that would happen when you would land on the ground, like your view model would tilt.
yeah.
However, with a new plugin made by Zen, that's now fixed, so you can now run Surf Stitched. Specifically, one part, like the very start of stage 2,
Yeah.
that B hop, I swear, it was so hard to get it precise because I'm not even joking. You would just like you would land on the B hop and you would basically be perfectly like diagonally looking at the ramp from the side because of how far up you were in the ground that you just landed. It was just really bad, and it's a good like it's a cool idea, right? It just sucks because of the way source worked. Source works that like that had to happen when you played it on CSS, but it's like fine on momentum and CS:GO. Like it's not a problem because that's not a thing. It's just something specific to the CSS engine.
And do you think that
But I
Stitched might
might
be?
run it.
You might run it. Do you think that it's one of the better maps? I have like now playing it. I'm like, wow, they put so much effort into this map, and it got no
I
play.
think it's one of the most. When I played it for the first time and I saw the showcase, like I have to fucking play this right now. And then when
Yeah.
I play, it's like this is the best map of the year. I don't care what anyone says. Like this map is so
So
unbelievably
good.
good. It is,
Yeah.
and what sucks is that people might not play it just because they might think it's too long,
Yeah.
or it's just that like they see the map, it's like that doesn't look like that's my type of surf. I'm just gonna not play it. Which shame on you. You're missing out on an enjoyable experience, which is surf stitched.
It's stage one being really hard. Like the first like 30 seconds, and then the rest of it is fine. And then it's the length. I guarantee. I guarantee people thinking, looking at the end of stage two, like I don't know what the world record does. They go off the top of like third to last and like to the right, like in that little gap, so they have really good entry. And then the snipe where you have to make it in that horizontal gap. They look at that and they go, "Fuck no." I looked at it and I was like, "Holy shit! I can actually get a top 10 for the first time in my life, dude." So
That's
fucking
another thing.
easy.
Actually, I forgot about like why I wanted to talk about basically improving at surf. And the other thing that a lot of people do is that when they start playing, that they go through the basic motion of like they get the introduction of how like things are with surf. You surf with A and D, you don't hold W, you air strafe, right? Typical things. Like tier 1 is the easiest, tier 8 is the hardest, and you just go through your like just go through maps, you start completing maps. But once you get better and you are able to basically get like better times because you have better understanding of the fundamentals, what I see people do is that they like to go for like they like to challenge themselves on maps. But I think the best way to improve like your overall what is it, like actually surfing fast, which I think is way more important than like raw mechanics, because surfing is a speedrunning game, if you ask me.
Yeah,
That's just ideological things and all of that stuff. Like you can just disagree with me on that. It's an opinion, right?
no, I understand.
So you're entitled to disagreeing and agreeing with it and having one. So if you want to really improve, what I see people do is like if they maybe like see an element of a map that looks really hard, instead of like what is it, being intimidated by it, it's like they don't tackle the challenge of actually trying to do that same thing, if that makes any sense, right? Oh, this shortcut looks really hard. I don't know if I want to run this map, and turn that into like, oh, this shortcut like looks really hard and looks really cool when you do it. Let me try to save lock it and see if I can do it.
Right.
And like they might actually just get into playing the map.
Right. If they could do the
I
shortcut, they see the benefit of then being able to run it. But if they never try, they wouldn't know.
Yeah, I think that basically adds a lot of it adds a lot of depth to your own gameplay of understanding like how to hit this shortcut because there might be similar elements in the different shortcut on the different map. And it might even like be the exact same thing. Like, oh, you skip this ramp by flicking early. Like just a basic like random concept I just like came up with right
No, you're
there.
right.
You don't see a lot of that on bonuses, which is like, and again, another opinion here. I don't think a lot of like bonuses are good for improving because I see a lot of people, what is it, kind of like ignoring the map and then just going straight to the bonuses instead. But even if the map is in their reach of skill, they would just like play the bonuses instead and grind that out. I actually think it can like hurt your consistency because you're used, depending on the length of the bonuses you're playing, it hurts your consistency to be what is it fast in a certain amount of time, right? Like basically like hurts your focus. You're only able to focus on like 20 seconds of surf, right? Instead of like a map that might be 1 minute and 30 seconds, which is the majority of most maps. Like most maps are not over 2 minutes. In fact, it's a very short amount. Like it's a very short list of maps that's actually over 2 minutes. So when you really look at it,
And comparing that to speedrunning communities where a run takes an
I
hour.
gave us an hour, you know.
Wow, an
Yeah.
hour of surfing would kill me, dude. That's why we haven't. Ooh, okay. We're a little bit over time. I want to know your thoughts on a potential gauntlet. Are there maps you would like to see in a gauntlet? And then we're gonna end it out. Do you have any questions for me? So first on
Ooh,
gauntlets, what do you
ooh,
think?
like kind of like the B-Hop Gauntlet, that thing
Yeah,
that people
exactly.
speedrun. The Surf Gauntlet. Okay, well, ends with corruption. If it doesn't end with that, I'm not playing it. That's all I'm
What?
saying. Nah,
What? No, 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 no,
I'm
no,
just
no, 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 no.
I'm just joking. But it would have to definitely end with a map that is hard but also very iconic.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I wouldn't want it to end with Omnific because I think that it just or maybe actually could end with Omnific, but because I think it's one of the maps that's sadly like not really tier 6 anymore.
Mm,
I think almost you could almost put it like in the vein of almost being tier 5.
yeah.
Because if you go on the like on the hardest stage on the map, which is stage 16, a lot of people are able to compete it if they're like a tier 4 surfer
Right.
nowadays because the overall difficulty of maps has risen. It's not gone down, believe it or not. It's gone up because people are getting better and slowly understanding how to surf better, right? Because, people are just spreading their knowledge around like crazy now,
Yeah.
especially with the videos, right?
Yeah.
That people have been posting now. Like more people are starting to make surf content off their own like interest just because they want to. Just helps people get better in general.
Oh, I'm totally interrupting you. What induced you to make that crouch boarding vid?
Crouchboarding is a technique used to clutch boards. In this clip, I have a lot of trouble boarding the ramp without crouching. However, if I tap perfectly before I land on the ramp, I am able to board it without even being crouched on the ramp. This is what crouchboarding looks like. It's mostly used for situations where you're not going to have a lot of units, such as Surf Shade on this ramp, but this is just one example. There are many, and this is just a short video to explain how it works. It's not as effective on maps that have way bigger ramps and where you have a lot of room to land on the ramps. It's way more effective on enclosed spaces. I was like, I'm not even joking. This is such a good example. I remember that I had to try to convince Batman that crouchboarding actually makes a difference because believe it or not, Batman is a big surfing noob. He
Oh
might
my
have really
god.
cool tacit, but he's a big noob because he didn't know that crouchboarding actually does make a difference. So I
Mm,
was like, when he's like, but crouchboarding is placebo because basically what he understood is that if you crouch before you land on the ramp, like just imagine if you're like going straight forward horizontally and you just board the ramp normally. Like then, well, that's just it's basically the same if you were to board it right before you crouch, right? There's no difference. But what he's not taking into account is like the angle and like the fact that you try to like basically almost like dodge the spine so you can then land on the ramp afterwards.
right.
That was like kind of the concept he didn't like understand is that like that's the principle of couch boarding is that you do actually like gain some extra units basically by pressing crouch.
Yeah.
And I thought like, damn, this ramp on Surf Shade, like it's just a good example of crouch boarding that I'm like, I'm just gonna make it right now. Okay, like how do I explain crouchboarding in 30 seconds? And then I challenged myself with that, and then I wrote some things down, and then that video just
And how
I just made
hard was
that
that
video.
video? Was that hard to make?
Took 20 minutes. I'm not gonna lie.
20 minutes, and you endowed the whole generation of surfers with valuable knowledge, including Batman the Noob. My dude, we have talked about so much. We talked about a lot of drama. We got input from a surfer who's not only incredible, but holds a different skill set than a lot of normal surfers, right? Like, we're getting outside of the William, the Lemmix. I think you're closer, I guess, to Manana in username. Thank you so
Yeah,
much. Yeah, go ahead.
I I just play. I basically don't consider myself like I play a lot of tech maps, but that's just because uh I just like a lot of the elements in them because I just think they're really fun to play, and they're just not. You're not going to see those in a lot of maps nowadays, and I just kind of like. Not only does it bring nostalgia, but I think they're just really fun gameplay elements. I think a lot of like unit surfing. Let's just use the forbidden word.
Sure.
We don't say unit
No,
surfing.
but it's smooth. It's smooth surf. We talked about this. We figured this out a year and a half ago. Okay,
Yeah.
The distinction is not unit tech. It's tech smooth, and then the distinction is obvious, like a rear versus fruits. You can tell the obvious difference. Unit, everything is a unit map. There is no non-unit
Yeah.
map.
Yeah, it's basically. I think I like maps if they just flow well, right? Because I think I've had I've had map records on maps that people would consider like why the fuck would you play this? Like you're the guy that plays Ghostbusters. You don't play this.
Oh, dude, that map. Holy shit.
It's one of the greatest maps ever made. Do not at me.
Oh my
I
god.
will defend Ghostbusters.
Jesus Christ. Louis is the definition, though, of going for maps that nobody else is willing to run and then just destroying them and giving them his all. And it's so cool to see. I don't know how he does it mentally, though.
I do that. I do that too,
Yeah.
but on maps that people like maybe know a bit more
Yeah.
for being an okay map and not something that people consider a garbage dumpster. Like Surf Y, Surf Fruits with two O's to like that. Like I just like when I saw the showcase for that map, just started laughing my ass. I was like, this is not gonna get added to KSF, right? I get a pinged on Discord. Surf Fruits 2 is added to KSF.
Oh
Well,
my god.
That's cool and all.
There is really only one bad stage. It's the second to last, right? It's the Spy Complex stage. I can't believe Spy Complex made that. Fucking
I actually can't believe that that Wayne 3288 is on the gay stage.
Wait, is he? What the
A lot of people don't know that. There's specifically the photo that is use of him was on a Twitch stream of his where he got asked where is the face reveal, and then he just moves his cam up, shows his face for a quick second, and that's it. And then people started screenshotting his face like that, and it was all over the surf community. It's like, oh my god, 328, wait, 3288 face reveal. Look at this. He showed his face. Look at him.
And now he's on the gay
a
stage.
human.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's on the gay stage. It's very like you might not pay attention to it, but it's right before the ramp where you have a booster. I think it's you're basically strafing right, and it's on the wall right next to you that you're gonna strafe afterwards. I can link you a
found it with the green headphones.
Yeah. Yeah, that's Wayne.
How'd they do that to him, bro? What the fuck?
Oh no, they had to do it to him.
And they've got ISIS on the walls, dude. This is I play this on stream. This is the most offensive map, I think.
I mean, it's offensive, but at the end of the day, it's pretty base if you ask me.
It kind of is. All the ramps being dicks is a god tier move. Cromalia, we are 1 hour
Done
and 37 minutes in. Do you have any questions for me?
When am I getting paid?
When you get when I get paid. You're getting paid when I get paid.
Okay, I'm just joking around.
Dude, you know how much
hopefully-
YouTube actually fucking waits to pay? You have to make $100 in a month. So I have never gotten paid from YouTube. It's crazy.
The same thing with Twitch. You have to make $100, otherwise they don't pay you out. Unfortunate though. That just happens. but that's just how it works. Any questions do I have for you? I usually, if I were to get interviewed, I like to prepare them at least,
Yeah.
but I didn't because I realized, believe it or not, when you said 5 p.m. GMT, I just straight up thought it would be like at this time we would start recording like right now. Is what I thought. I'm not even joking. I just confused things in my head.
No, I got totally fucked. I woke up at 4:50 GMT, so that's why that
No,
happened.
no, you should be. It's okay. I know. Like I don't know if you have anything going on in your life. You say you never leave your house. I'm not gonna take that too literally.
No, no. I mean, I this is what I do for work now. I work every day. I don't really take a lot of days off. It hasn't been going as well as I liked. I was really hoping that after 2 months, I would be getting like 10 or 20K views and that I would be able to off gas to like Bazooki and to the Ancient One. And then we could all just like not be making money. That's not the point, but experiencing community growth like we haven't seen in a long time. But that didn't happen. I mean, that's the
Yeah,
biggest sad moment about it, you know?
yeah. I think it's just. I think the reason of why I, the best way I can put it is just like hopefully you stay motivated, right? Because I can understand like when I basically like was just like hearing that video of where you basically explained what your plan was, right?
Yeah.
But what you want to do with content creation. I was like, this guy is so motivated, and I just wish this guy stays as motivated as he is as he was like basically from 5 months from then. I was like, I hope that guy that's saying that is hopefully as motivated as he was then as he is now. But obviously, sometimes it just can't be the case. But I just hope that that doesn't wane uh any like inspiration to keep going because
Just keep going,
there's
but
a,
I'm not doing the right thing, Cromalia. That's the problem. Like if the content was good, it would be getting more impressions and more views. That is the bottom line. I literally got dizzy watching my content every week on stream. I'm getting the exposure. But you can't put gas into a broken engine. And so in the next 4 months, I'm going to take a lot of time to think. I think the channel is going to change a lot with way more entry content. If we have to go back to the history, I'll go back to the history. But the strategy for the past couple of months has not been the correct strat. That's the bottom line. I think it
yeah.
could really be. I showed you this guy Oddsy. I think a couple videos like that, really well
I,
made, and with a combo of y'all in there, like really top surfers trolling people on public servers. I think that could be a banger, and it would be an evolution for the type of content that Raccoon Eggs made. But if something doesn't change, after 4 months, I'm gonna be out.
I think the reason why is because it's not to say that like your content is gated, but I think a lot of people just don't. I think the one of the topics that I brought up, right, is that like the main, like in the Orson podcast, one of the topics I brought up is like the people that know about surf is like the majority of surf players don't even know that like that competitive surfing is a thing,
Right.
like that people actually try to be the best at like surf, like they just do not know that that is a thing. It
So
is
that's the
it's just very sad, like, but the way I see it is that it's just hard, like how do you actually get people like to how do you actually expose people to the fact that there is a competitive surfing community out there. And I think that's actually why I'm more in support of Momentum Mod. I see a lot of top players actually like kind of like push it away. It's like it's like it's just gonna be a tool for mappers. It's not gonna be something people main. But I think Momentum Mod will actually, if it gets played, will actually bring what is it? Potentially, like this is what I hope for. Like actually that like entry, that entry into the fact that there is there is something competitive about surf, which is basically well what Momentum Mod is. It's a standalone game for surf speedrunning and like just a source game speedrunning.
and because it functions as a hub for other game modes, it is going to be the prime place for exposure. Because even if you like maybe you've never played a movement game and you play Momentum Mod, that's an iffy connection. If you're a rocket jumper and now you have the option to also play surf, p-hop, and conk and all
Yeah,
that, oh, it's amazing. The problem is we don't know when it's going to release and we don't know the state that it's going to release in. That is like,
yeah.
oh man.
That's also what kills me. But I think Like my entire mentality when I heard that, like, oh, it might be released in 2 years, and I'm like, there's no way. At least with what they said, I heard that when I heard like they might be releasing the game in 2016, right? Or when I heard about the game in 2016, they might be looking for like 2 years of development. I mean, 6 years later, here we are. I just basically, like, when it came to that first like date of like we might try to get the game out at this date, and it didn't come. I'm like, okay, the game is done when it's done, and
Hmm.
that's what we have to live with. Like, we can't expect much more. Like, with the way Goknak obviously has some good explanation with the fact that like the project was poorly managed at the start, and people have left, and basically he was the only like actual game developer for like the majority of that time. So it's like the entire game code has basically just been developed by one person. But now I think I think I'm not too sure how much Fingerprints is involved with the base of the actual game, but I do know he does like what is it, panorama developing for the game, which is like the menu and stuff.
Which is going to make the game so much more polished and hopefully function better.
Yeah.
And I know that XB Man, who's like around, is also involved in that. If the game does not release into like the game plan, man, the game plan was decided. It was do all kinds of content until October, take a break in November, and then push for the entire month of December. Just like trying to pay streamers to play the game, creating promo with y'all top surfers, like trying rocket jump and all these different game modes. If it does not launch in December, I have no idea what my plan is. I have to
Yeah.
talk to Gognak and find out, hey, are you planning on a 1.0 release in December, or am I quitting in December? Like, that's going to be it. I don't know if I'm going to have to
Yeah.
try to put pressure on them. If I have any info, I'll pass it to you on the side. But at this point, I have no idea.
Yeah. It just, but at the same time, I think, what is it? That was kind of like believe it or not, like how, I don't know if you remember some of the topics that I threw around, right? In that like episode I did with Orson of the podcast. It's like, how long will Surf survive? Like, how long will it last? And I think we said like at least like from then, like, which is like 2020, 2020, like we said at least like five or like 5 or 6 years basically was like a good way to put it. But like, I think actually the game is potentially getting to a state where people are starting to learn a little bit more about it. However, I think it just takes like a certain moment for people to realize that the game is like kind of like a content gold mine of like
I
how easy it is to.
know. Oh my god, it's
It just
amazing.
it just takes that one moment, and I don't know like, the thing is, XQC surfing, like, that, like, sure, that's cool, but I don't think like XQC knows that this is mainly the problem, is that like what needs to be exposed is the like actual top level gameplay, and understanding like the entry of like, this is competitive surfing. People play this to like try to beat the hardest times, and try to push the envelope of like or try to push the limit of every single map. People just do this because they're passionate about the game, and then they just start getting into playing it themselves, and then hopefully they will realize just like how deep this game goes. And it just, that kind of moment has to happen with a widespread audience getting exposed to that specific like experience, if that makes any sense.
And I
Because
agree.
that's
And
how
yeah, go ahead.
that's just how I think a lot of like other games, like for example Apex Legends, kind of like blew up. And not only was it because like people thought the game was gonna flop, right? So they just fucking released it with like no announcements, like, oh, it's like, oh, it's like it's the guys that developed Titanfall, but like without the Titans, so the game is gonna be shit, right? And it's a battle royale, so, oh, here's another failed game. That's what EA thought, basically, right? Well, what turned out to be was a battle royale where it felt like it was, again, simple, felt fair, and it felt like it was actually something where you could push the boundaries. So what, like, just, well, it's just a good battle royale, right? Like, I can't really say much about it, right? There's a reason why it's popular, is because it feels like it's not like bullshit in any way. There's some bullshit elements in it. Every game has it, right? Like, for example, in Surf we had fucking ramp bugs.
Yeah.
which like if you're on a run, you might just fucking stop surfing. Which when you look at it in that way, that is very bullshit, right? Thank God it's like kind of fixed now, right? It still happens in some situations, right? But you get the point. Apex is popular for a good reason, right? Because it felt like it was a game that improved on like what's the thing you talked about in the combat surfing, right? Like it improved on the new or the old or like it basically had those elements put into the game, and it felt like a very like easy game to get into, which is also what surf is generally speaking. But I think momentum mod is specifically what we need. We need people to be able to get introduced to this game even more easily. Like it just needs to be so easy to get into surf than it is now. Than to own Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Then you have to go to the server browser thing, and then you have to go through all the shit fucking
Yeah.
servers that are on there until you find a surf server. Like sure that like if you've played a source game before, that's pretty easy going through a server browser. However, if you're a person that has never played any game before, right? And you just downloaded Steam and you're like, wait, I just downloaded this game and I want to play this like thing where they slide the triangles. I have to go and download this game just so I can play a different game. What's this?
It's
Like,
crazy.
do you get the point? That's kind of how I've seen it, but then
Yeah,
again,
there's
I
lots to
could just
unpack there. Okay, the first thing is that when you spoke about Apex, I also thought about Fortnite. Like Fortnite was also released as a game that the developers didn't think was going to be a flagship product. It was originally supposed to be what, like a survival game or something, and then it
yeah.
explodes into the biggest game of, I guess that was 2018 or whatever. For years, it dominated, and it was like highly grossing. As well as, as far as selling the game to people. While I think that the competitive aspect is important, how we sell that is more important. Is this the Dark Souls of movement? Is this the hardest game ever made? That nobody ever even thinks about that. But there are maps in this game that only like 7 people with 10 years of experience are able to beat, and nobody has no failed it yet, right? Talking about Anubis. When Corruption released, only 2 people were able to play it at release at all. At that point, we can sell the game as,
Hey, I
yeah,
was the third person to complete that.
you were
Everyone
third.
forgets about it.
Really?
Yeah, yes.
Okay,
Like
so there were 3 people. One of them was you, but you get the point. Like how?
people for that that's a lot of people don't actually know that. Like it's like it was Levi, Emil, and then it was me. It was like, wait, no, doesn't sound right. Are you sure about that? Yes. In fact, it's a highlight on my stream. I go on the top, like there's only 3 completions on that, and I was the third one. So
Shit.
all the haters, you can I don't know. Like I wanted to nah, never mind. I'm gonna
Suck
be
his
calm.
dick. Suck his dick. You can say it. It's okay. Whatever. Suck my
No,
dick. Right?
no, no. I want to do like suck my ass because
Suck your
you're like
ass.
no thing better than anyone else. Do you know that fucking like mind of that girl saying that?
Suck my ass. Ah.
Suck my ass because you're not better or think you are than anyone else. Like super awkwardly.
Well, but just as far as selling it, like, is it the most satisfying game? Is this one something where you're gonna struggle so much when you first play it, but when you finally get that run, it's the best feeling in the world? And only the players that have the gusto and the courage to play a really hard game and are skillful at FPS games will be able to play it. That's interesting, but I don't know if that is what the market is looking for. I think the market is even like more so just the CS:GO Surf Lobby product because that's what
Yeah,
Leafy and Raccoon Eggs were selling.
it's what people consider like that's kind of like unfortunate. I think the label that most people see is like surfing as a chill game.
Yeah.
But people don't understand that it can be a super hard game as well. And believe it or not, it can still be really fun. I mean, I get a lot of people just want to hang out and chill with their friends, and I understand why that has actually like become like the reason why it like got popular on CS:GO is because like it's such a easy way to meet new people and you can just fuck around on these servers and just have fun. But it just kind of sucks that like what's left out is a game with a lot of like potential to just like basically be played by so many people, but it's just kind of is what it is.
I mean, we can even sell the idea that it's a little bit edgier than other games, that you can get away with some more stuff than you could on Apex. You know what I mean? Because it is an underground game, and so if you're looking for a more authentic gaming experience, I guess that could be it.
Yeah,
Cromalia, we have no idea. I have to do market testing. I have to try different videos, and eventually, hopefully, I'll be able to come with you come to you with a concrete idea of what marketing this game will look like. And I know that's not what everybody's interested in. When you made that 30-second video about crouch boosting, that was hella
Crouch
good.
boosting.
Crouch. Oh,
Crouch
sorry.
boosting.
No, 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 no. Oh
It
God.
it reminded me of a bind I have on the source where basically, do you know this guy named Kaz? He made like 1,000 tick tasks,
Yes.
where it's just him flying through the map.
Yes, yes,
But I have a bind of him saying that basically, if you have KSF VIP, you actually get a boost on the first ramp.
yes.
It just reminded me of that for some reason.
That's a good bind, and it'll help sell VIP, but not true. Don't use it.
It's no. What do you mean? That's how I got tree for it. What the fuck are you talking about?
Wait, really?
Nah, I'm joking.
Thank God. I wonder if maybe also there's a way for me to be a facilitator for y'all to create content very easily. Like if it's just at the point where you guys send me an audio clip and then I edit all the footage and cut down the time that it would take. If you're ever interested in that, hit me up. I was trying to see if
Yeah,
Half was interested.
I really wanted to. What is it? I wanted to explain one idea that I always one like besides like an advanced surf tutorial, right? Which is explaining like what is it? I wanted to make. I had this concept of a surf of like almost like a like kind of how it works into it, but I wanted to aim it towards like experienced players.
Mm.
But it might not be great for exposure, but I still wanted to make it because I felt like making it. And I wanted to just call it Surf Master, just because like Surf and Master is the highest rank, right? Because like you gotta have like some sort of fucking gimmick with your title. I don't know, dude. I don't make titles for a living.
I know.
I put products on shelves. That's what I do. Anyway, so I wanted to make that, and I just wanted to have it go through certain stages, which was I wanted to go through like the fundamental skill of surf, which was positional awareness. Then I wanted to go through what is it? I wanted to go through maps, like how you just did how to improve at basically any like sort of like map type you would think of, like smooth surfing, technical surfing, just basically all of those, like how to approach them, and just how to improve on it, understand certain elements, right? Like the niche elements of those, and how you improve at them. And then I wanted to go through mentality and mindset as the last one, which I thought was the most important one. And then I would have like it. The way I wanted to explain it in that video was way more like concrete and had a lot more like what is it? It was a way bigger information dump than what I did. I feel like I explained like shit right now. I'm gonna be completely honest because I just kind of had to do it on the fly, and I didn't get to write out everything that I wanted to write down on a piece of paper or on a notepad and just explain all the concepts, because I just like they just popped in my head, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is like a concept that I find very important in surf, and it needs to be said if you want to get really good, right? But then I'm like, well, how the fuck do I explain it?
Yeah.
And now I have to do it on the fly, so that's like a little bit harder, right? But
One thing that'll make it a lot easier if you ever get around to just writing down one of them, I can help you with clarity for an outline and finding footage. It could literally come to the point where we just get into a call like this and we talk about it, and then I turn our call into the audio. It would be so low effort for you, seriously. You just write it down,
yeah,
we talk about it in a call, and I can chop it up. It can go on your channel very easily. I would just send you the Google Drive of the final product. Easy content, seriously. If you're ever interested in that,
it,
definitely hit me up.
I've always thought about like just I already have like I'm not even joking. I have what is it? If I go open up my fucking Premiere, I have how many surf projects do I have here that just lie dormant that I've just scrapped?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I had what is it? Okay, let's go here. Let's go here. So we have what makes the surf map good? Most important most important skill in skill surf. Crouch boarding, which is that like you know about that one
Right.
already. What is it? Just just like there's a few things here. What's this? What's this one? Oh yeah, I actually did like kind of have a short video about mindset.
Mm.
And it was just like um it's just called surf mindset, and that's all there is to it. And then I have some audio files on Audacity here. One of them is just like the unfinished what is it unfinished takes of the positional awareness video, which is like the most important skill in surf, which is, you know, that is the fundamental of all surf, which is just knowing the size of your player model. Because if you know that and how close you are to things, and like surfing is so easy.
And I will say, if you're ever interested in doing that, the search volume for CS:GO Surf is huge right now. It is bigger because of XQC and Dizzy, and I'm not taking advantage of that, but everybody could. If we can just crack that code and put out content, we can definitely get access.
Yeah, I just, hmm, I just surf is cool. That's all I'm gonna say. I just keep thinking about this game mode all day, all night. But even if I'm not fucking playing it, I love this game. I want people to get exposed to it and hopefully see like them just actually play it. It's such a good game. And then people meme on me for being a top surfer. It's like I'm good at sliding on triangles in a game that isn't even like made for it. It's like, fuck do you mean?
But it's an aiming game. It's the most precise aiming game. It's like Kovacs,
You're
but
aiming and you're aiming, but you're not actually aiming like directly what you're looking at. You're aiming with your player model. That's
and
basically what you're doing in surf. Have you ever really noticed that if you were to be directly aiming at something, you aren't. You're actually swayed a little bit more to the side, right?
right,
You're
right.
not directly like on the ramps. You're actually aiming with your hitbox.
Oh, wait, what? No, can you explain that?
That's basically positional awareness. So, okay, actually, I have the script right here. Let's go.
Oh
It's
God.
saved.
Okay, let me get some water. I'll be right back. I'm not even joking. I'll be right back.
If you're listening to this, I am trapped here. I am held hostage by RepsterSurf. If you have, um, if you're able to contact any authority, please send them to this address on screen. I beg of.
I'm back.
All right, welcome back. Yeah. Okay. Um, Okay, so knowing the size of your player model is basically the utmost important skill set of surfing and practically any other movement game mode. It's the awareness of how close you are to walls, how close you are to ramps, how close you are to landing on the floor, avoiding the floor, hitting the ceiling, avoiding the ceiling, like just basically any concept. Is that I know how if I were to jump off of a platform, I would know when to jump exactly for me to just barely cut over the platform and jump into the start of the first stage. However, if I weren't as good, if I didn't have that awareness, right, of just knowing how just basically just that how close or how far it is, right? It's just like being able to like connect those two dots of like, okay, I need to jump here if I want to reach there. Just knowing that it's just because you know the size and how fast you are going when you're on the ground. It's just that's basically the fundamental of like source movement in general, right? It's just like most top surfers, if they're playing a B4 and they can basically just tell when they're gonna make the ramp or not, or make it to the end of the map, or not the end of the map, make it to the end of the bonus.
Oh, and this totally connects. I forgot about it. How close surf and b hop are in fundamentals, and why a lot of b hoppers
It's
end up coming over to surf, right?
it's the same fundamental. It's just applied in a different concept, basically, because b hopping is just like it is just like a positional awareness, but you're just doing it with just constantly jumping on different platforms. In surf, you're just sliding on what is it surfaces, and it just gets a little bit. It's a bit weird for some people to get used to like surfing, but once you understand and get the feel of it, then if you already have good fundamental understanding of like for example you're a b hopper, then once you've put in like a good amount of hours into surf, then it actually becomes pretty easy for you to understand. And most b hoppers would even know how to be fast because they would just like know that like this is like the fastest way from point A to point B, just because they know how like the source engine works. It's just as simple as that actually.
Absolutely.
But learning it is pretty hard, and that's why just like explaining how to basically improve it and improve your positional awareness was like such a tasking like thing for me because I think the best way to put it is save lock, but it is save lock, but it's not only just save lock, it's in noticing your own gameplay. However, it is so hard to explain something that you can't notice if you don't know what you're actually like doing, if that makes any sense, right? Because if I'm looking at someone who's like less skilled than me, right? I can tell what they're doing wrong. However, they might not be, they just can't notice it
No.
because they don't know that like fundamental basis of like, this is how they don't know how close they are to the ramp. So they're just like slightly bumping into it. It's like that board could be so much better if you just like strafed a little bit further to the left before you landed on it. You had so much time to like align yourself on this ramp right here. Like stuff like that. It's just really hard to explain to people when they don't know what to look for, which is what you have to do. You have to do a lot of like reflecting about your gameplay, and sometimes it's super hard for most people to notice it, and a lot of the times you have to like point it out to other people.
That's why Orsi had
And
people go to like the second stage of Borderlands and just try that one ramp at the start over and over until they got a perfect board. I think that does wonders just to focus in on one ramp board and your technique on that and then extrapolate it to everything.
yeah, and that's basically the thing is that like how do you know how close you are to the top of the ramp is because you know how close you are to it, and then you basically just apply the fundamental of just surfing. Like you get taught that like there's a billion videos teaching that right already. That it's great if we get more so people know about it. Just that, and you apply like what is it? Understanding the fundamental of positional awareness, and then you have that applied.
I wonder if
Okay,
you
I
think
don't even
this
know
would
what I'm
be a
saying
good
now.
maybe you think this would be a good selling point. If you're good at CS:GO or Apex Legends, but you're not good enough to be a top player in either of those games, Surf is the close analogous game you could play that you will profit off your amazing aim and have a really good time without having to deal
Hmm.
with like teammates or bullshit ultimates or whatever it is that you don't like or Russians, whatever it may be. It's a really good selling point. It's a game that you don't have to play against anybody else directly. It's just you against the map, you know?
I think the best way to put it is that like there's no there basically in surf the better player wins.
Mm.
And the better player wins, and there's no like other factors at all. It's always the better player wins because the person who can surf better will win. It's basically that. And then there's also like, of course, the human elements. Like, oh, I failed this run, but I'm still better than you. But like in tournaments, right? Then it's all consistency because it's a completely different like playground, right? I don't want to delve into that because it kind of ruins the point that I'm trying to get across here, right? But
No, but it's also like
um,
tournaments don't show
uh,
who the better
it,
player is, but
yeah,
pros do.
they cut this out. I don't want people to know this. God. Malding. It's me malding. Don't
No,
worry.
that
It's
tournament
just
definitely, dude. That's the thing, though. Big episodic moments like that, where there's a lot of eyes, they can be big tilters, and we don't always, as a community, do the correct thing for our top players
yeah,
to make sure that they're doing all right after a tournament or whatever. I will say there was a lot less toxicity than there can be in other games, but
yeah,
yeah, I understand where you're coming from.
yeah. It's just like obviously like he's a good surfer, right? I'm just out here like fucking being traumatic like I just say things. I when I want to explain something, I put my person like my exaggeration up to 100 and just go with it
It's good
because
content.
it's just how I am. I don't really want to do it in any other way because I feel like I'm being fake.
Mm.
I feel like I'm not being myself. So like it or not, I'm here to stay for that. But that was basically if I were to go like come up for air and just like actually like be serious. It's like in the what is it Warble made. Do you know Warble? Warble made a video of highlights of Surfs of 2019, and Red Sea's Ram bug basically is in that video, and it basically saved Green Void's tournament run. The legit win I will give him is against Kush. I will give him that. That's actually a legit win. But like he had to play against Red Sea, who was ranked one at a time, and then Kush he kind of like legitimately beat. But I think Kush was awake for almost 24 hours when he was playing that tournament, so you can make that factor in as well if you really want to. Saying that this guy literally did not sleep for almost a day and had pulled up an all-nighter just to stay up for the tournament. Like you can interpret that any way you want. You can call it legit, you can call it illegitimate. And then he has to go against like, an opposition I don't consider myself like in the top 2 of all surfers, right, which is Saxon. I think Saxon is a good surfer. I don't think he's amazing. He's definitely very good. In fact, he's had some solid records. In fact, he got banned on KSF because fucking Sigrid didn't know who he was. He came from Resurf TF2,
Yeah.
and he beat Surf Mesa, and then he got banned because they didn't even know that he just didn't even know who he was. He was like one of the best surfers on Resurfed.
And they just ban the record. That's admin abuse too. Okay. Can I just say something about Green Void and that whole thing? I think though that is one of the most important moments in surf history when Green Void beats Red Sea, because what, Red Sea was like the number one. He was rank 1 at that point, or he was
Yeah.
recently, right? What you could really attribute that to is Truck's amazing ability to make a tournament run correctly and to cast it in a way that makes it exciting and episodic like that, right? Like Free Tibet playing in the background, alien invasion, can he do it? The final run, blah blah. You know what I mean?
Fucking, or else he's gonna be fucking abducted.
But that's
that was a great moment. That was a great moment. But like, I'm like, oh, this is so funny. I am. This is very, very funny. I am big laugh. This was amazing, and of course, Truffle and Sloth had to be there because otherwise, it wouldn't be a true alien invasion. It was just in terms of like, what is it? What happened afterwards? Like in our okay, like now we're like, okay, a bunch of fucking like people from the surf community and other people outside the surf community are watching this surf tournament, and I'm like, and they're like, wow, they're so good at this surfing thing or whatever, like. And now when we go back down to earth after the tournament is done and people like forget it after 2 weeks, sadly, then like in the surf community, people think like Green Void is the fucking most goated gamer of all time. So, that was like I'm not gonna take it away from him, but I do think people have kind of like almost like made it like a bit,
But you don't
which I
you don't attribute any skill to like being able to top 10 a ton of maps, like having a variety.
when you reach a skill ceiling, you can top 10 any map. Like if you're in, you can basically like get top 10 on practically any map if you're able to get world records, right? Because most people in the top 25, right, people that are elite, they're able to get records on a good amount of maps, right? They're basically in that vein. They can grind for master if they want to grind a shit ton of top 10s.
Yeah.
And it's just there to be, it's just there, it's an open option for them. However, most people don't really want to take that route. That's the route I didn't want to take. I chose to get as many records on maps as I could, or rank 2s or whatever. If I were to get a top 10, I didn't want it to be a bad top 10. I wanted it to be a top 3. Otherwise, it just wasn't there for me. Like, that was even when I was like, what is it, top 200. Like, I didn't want to get a top 10 unless it was a good one. I remember, like, Surf, what is it? Is this Surf? And it's not Surf Space. It's some other map that, like, Truffle had the world record on at
Could
one
we surf the
point.
distance?
It's not Surf the Distance. It's like a space theme map. It's super old nowadays.
Oh, is it a stage map?
Wait. It's a really short map. It has 3 stages. Wait.
You gotta
I can
understand that.
I can definitely get the map up. It'll take me a few seconds. It's Surf Sci-Fi. That's the map. Like I remember playing a map called Surf Sci-Fi, Surf Salient. I got rank free. Like I was a nobody. I want you to know I was a nobody. Like back then, and like in 2016, I didn't even have like in early 2016 at least. I didn't have records. It was only in late 2016 I got records, and in 2017 I got my first world record video uploaded. And even then, I was going for top threes. Like I just wanted good top tens. I didn't want a bad one. I wanted a good one because I just wanted to push like myself on how good I could get a run on a certain map. And that was basically all that like kind of like mattered. It's just the approach of like just how I approached every single map with like, okay, I'm gonna learn this map and I'm just gonna get the best time I can possibly get. And well, not a lot of people just like at least the people that are trying to get like really good, they need to basically have that intuition as well to always push what is it, the maps that they're playing on.
Yeah, but I see skill in the fact that you can go on a map and in just an hour get a top 10. I mean, not only Green Void is the person that does that, Manana, that was his strategy too. Rather than
Yeah,
grinding the fuck out of a single map for an amazing record, just being able to learn maps and the strategies that are required to get a good time quickly. That's
yeah, but
important.
I think it's super. It's like I think that's like the skill set that you want if you want to be really good in tournaments, and then
Mm.
it's a higher ceiling if you see the connection I'm making, right?
That you want, if you want to get world records, you can't be that type of surfer. You have to be willing to learn one map in depth.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, that's like if you want to build consistency, it's one of the best ways is just try to speedrun top tens and try to learn the map as fast as you possibly can.
Mm.
Right? I
Rather
think
than grinding a single
it
map.
can, yeah, because if you want to grind a single map for a super good time, I absolutely respect it because I think in the long term it can have merit to that grind of what you did learning, like what you learned from that grind, what you learned from playing the map, what you learned from speedrunning it. All that stuff, right? You can
Oh,
always take something out of when you grinded it.
okay. I've got a quick thing here, and it's interesting for B Hop. Do you happen to know what like the commonly agreed best run of all time is in B Hop? It's weird,
Uh,
and it's totally different. The mindset that B Hoppers have is totally.
I don't even like. I would probably have no idea because like even for me, I think at least the best. I don't think the best run in surf has even been set yet. That's just my opinion, but I do know the most influential run, if you ask me, ever. I still, if you ask me, it's still Truffle's Omnific run. It's the most influential like surf run of all time. When that got hit, I don't think surf has stayed the same forever since it inspired so many people to push the limits of all other maps because people realized like this guy got so much minus off this super long map and all of that. Just that's at least my opinion, but I have no clue about B Hop. I want to know though.
That
Give me
is
the
it's
sauce.
really close to Omnific. So Jehoshaphat on Surf badges is regarded by many B hoppers as the greatest run of all time. He ran that map for over 10 years and got close to an optimal run that will likely never be beaten. The second best is also Jehoshaphat very recently on Surf Epiphany 2. It's like 4 minutes of extremely precise B hop. That also took him 11 months. Badges took him 10 years, right? In
Yeah.
surf, if I had to say what's the best surf run of all time, I'm thinking it, Cyberwave is obviously really good because it's competitive. I think some people would say Levi's corruption completion in 2 hours. They're less so, oh, who can grind this for the longest, like a Mesa type run. Instead, they look at how quickly can this person learn a map that is considered to be the hardest map of all time. I think they could say the same about, oh God, who beat Anubis for the first? Was it username? Who was the first completion on Anubis?
It was Marvel.
Well, at the end of the day, I know that was a long slew. The last thing I'll say about B Hop is that I think that there is great potential for collaboration. Would you, Cromalia, be interested in a Surfers Try B Hop type event on like a Friday evening, most likely, or a Sunday?
It could be a Sunday. It could definitely like I don't really have a lot of time. Or well, I do have a lot of time. Is what I meant.
Oh, you're actually pretty flexible, and so I have to find people that are interested in that. I want to do
Yeah.
like surfers teach B hoppers how to play surf. Surfers try B hop. Surfers try rocket jump because I think that's a great way for us to get exposed to these other game modes and show that these game modes are very similar to each other, but also that we're extremely skilled and we can play whatever, which is not really the case. But dude, I am cooked. We have been
Yeah.
speaking for 2 hours and 23 minutes. Do you have any final thoughts you want to share with the viewers before we log off for
I do
today?
not. I do not. I probably do, but I this video is way too long, and people just it needs to end at one point. I'm sorry. It needs it. All good things must eventually come to an end.
Cromalia, I hope you have a great one. Thank you so much for speaking to me. Peace out.
No problem. I grant you my epic gamer presence. That okay. That was okay. Cut that out. Don't put that in the video. Don't put that in the video. Proceeds to put it in the video.